$10,000 into an S&P 500 index 10 years ago, what would that value be today? Okay, it would be $31,000 in August 2024 if you put it in January 2014, $10,000 invested. So no touching it, no additional money into it, just straight up you had one time you had some money saved or something and you put it into the stock market, to say, you put it into S&P 500 index type fund and you let it just sit and you didn't touch it, right? We're on ChatGPT. I'm not checking all the returns. I expect these look correct to me, about 11.5% returns, annualized returns for the last 10 years. So that's what that would turn into, right? If you're getting about 11.5% return on $10,000 a year, every year, going up 11.5 or so percent, $31,000. Now, that's if you never saved money along the way for the last 10 years. The real way to do this, what if you put $10,000 every year, right? And, maybe you can't do that in the beginning. If you're younger or whatever, in your 20s, you should prioritize it. This should be the priority. You need to build up that war chest, and you need to make it to where there's so much time and there's so much time to play around when you're really in the financial spot to do it. It's fun to be in your 20s, and but you got to watch the expenses, especially because these are the most important years to start early. Time is the largest component when it comes to investing, because the compounding and everything. It's just, when you trade out, you could put more money away later in life and not catch somebody who's just been steady and consistent with regular small normal amounts maybe, but over the long run, right? They just hockey stick at a certain point. So we're looking at what would it be like, and I get into as your income rises year over year, you should be investing and saving away. Again, I say saving, I mean investing, but you should be putting away money into things that are going to appreciate, assets, investments, any type of thing like that. You should be putting that money each year. If you're making more, you invest in, it's just a percent of your income. So if you're making $100,000 a year, or if you're making $50,000 a year, it's just 10%, whatever you're going to save, 10%, 20%, 30%. And then if you make $70,000 the next year, just keep the same percentage, right? So dollar-wise, you've increased how much you're putting away, but it really shouldn't have impacted, your lifestyle so much, because you're kind of keeping things in line, right? You just get used to a budget, really. But here's the real fun. If you could just, and we could do this with any number, you can do this on your own on ChatGPT, but $10,000 a year, let's say you did $10,000 every year, one time a year, beginning of the year, let's January 2014, all the way up to today's August 2024. So it's a year, 10 and a half years about. If you had, let's see, I had it asked, all right, now if it was every January, what would it be? So every January, we're at 10,000, and then 10,000 every year. That's $201,000 by today, right, in a 10-year period. But what if you did this for 30 years? Now, this is how the retirement game really works. You put that money away every year, but you do it over that period of time. And, maybe this is a high rate of return for a 30-year period, 11.5%. I believe average is closer to 8.5, maybe 8 or 9 in the longer term, but historically. But, this is the target here. After a lifetime of working, or at least most of your life, you start seriously working in your 20s or 30s, and making good money, and then you get 20 or 30 years of really career building time. And that's the mission, is that you get to this point where you get some good wins. This number could be greater than that easily if you're picking the right stuff, and if you're serious about increasing your investments. This is the same $10,000 all 10 years. Only $10,000 from saved in year 1 or saved in year 10 is the same as 10 years before. That should be increasing every year. You want to be saving up as your life elevates. Otherwise, you're just spending it as fast as you're getting it. And I don't feel like I need to explain that further. The numbers are here. There's nothing new rules and everyone knows that you can make money in investments, but you got to like look at maybe the real numbers here. It's never exciting day by day. It's not exciting even month by month, right? Because you're looking at if you look at the market, it's doing something all the time. The headlines would have you believe there's always a reason to get out of this and get into that or do something else. So the long run, the vision, the plan that you have as an investor, when you're starting out, you have a plan. Like, that's the point. You're not here if you're just looking to make a buck, right? There's plenty of other ways to go do, some type of just make some money today type of stuff. This is for the disciplined and people who have like a plan in mind. They know where they want their life, and they have the ambition to put the steps in place and stick to them. So yeah, it's not fun that you got more money that you could be using, or you want to get more stuff. I mean, we drove old cars for a lot of years, right? We drove in 2013 or so. It was like, I don't know. It was like 10, 12 years ago, and we were in Chicago and commuting into the city, and we had cars, but they were old. Like I had a new car when I first started working, and then I sold it and bought an old car. We bought a 94. This is in like 2013, 2014. I bought a 94 Lexus. So we bought a 20-year-old car. It was $4,000 cash, and drove that. And that thing ran like 170,000 miles on it when I bought it. It was a Lexus SC 300, so we knew it would run. But we drove this. I had a pickup truck, an 04 GMC that had also like 170,000 miles around on that thing too. I drove it into the 200s. No car payments, no new cars until we were really like making it. I bought a nicer car like later, and then I got all this other stuff now that we're in the position to do it. Right, we're in like this is cash. I don't have a payment on any of these cars. Like, this is every car I own, no payments. The only expenses I have are the insurance on them and then the gas, and that's just up to how often I want to drive them. But you have to have that plan, because that was where I was heading. You have to have, in 10 more years, what did you want your life to be able to provide for you? So when we're looking at what ChatGPT is saying, that in 30 years of consistency and investing, and again, not even raising the investment amount, just $10,000 a year. And what if it were $5,000 a year? Cut the number in half. You'd have $1.5 million then, right? It'd be at 1.3 million or something like that if you could do $5,000 a year for 10 years. So it's not about, there should never be scary numbers where you think like, I can't save that much, or I don't make that much, right? You're supposed to make more money. If nobody's told you, year over year in your life, you should be aiming to make more money. You should be in a job or an environment or a career path, something that allows you, that if you put more work in and your skills have improved year over year, you are getting compensated properly for that. So, stay ambitious about these things. I like to look at the numbers. That makes me excited. When I look at a table, I do it in Excel, and I'll look at a chart. If I could do this for this long, and this much percent of return, and this much invested, and I'll run a whole table, and I like to do all that. But you can just ask ChatGPT nowadays, hey, what would it be like if I did this? What would have happened if this? What would it look like to that? And you can just play around and ask the computer where if you were to put money any which direction basically in the market for the last 10 years. And outside these random weird small companies, like I always say, stay away from, but any name, anything, the S&P is up almost 30% just in the last 1 year. From 1 year today, it's like 27%. So if you haven't made 30% on your money since last August, you're missing the game here. So that's what I'm trying to help with, and let me know if you have questions. I'll keep looking at stocks. I'm going to dig into some research, get back to the dividend, and talk to you later.